hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.
Hi guys, we're getting a lot of questions at the moment asking where to buy silver or gold, and of course there are many places in which you could, and this is not an endorsement, but we tend to use bullionbypost.com. They've got a wide range of gold and silver, and if you put in the code that we've listed here below, you'll get a 1 ounce silver coin on any order over £250. Very nice. Just in case our channel ever gets taken down from YouTube, which there's a possibility because we are challenging a number of things. If you go to my website, drcharlieward.co.uk, and register there, we'll keep you in touch as to what's going on. And please, as Justin always says, remember to subscribe and like and share with friends so that we can get the message out there. It's very important through a difficult time to get the truth out in a world that is not very true. Just remember, Jesus loves you, even if everybody else thinks you're a twat. One thing, right from the very start of this, and this is quite critical to me, when I was told about what was going to happen about the global financial reset and the revaluation 6 years ago, 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, sorry, and then in December, they made it very clear that the virus, the vaccine, 5G, the riots, and the alien invasions would all be smokescreens. Now, I totally understand your concern because it's very important to make people aware. But I'm still getting the same information from these people that it is a smokescreen, and it's being, I would guess it's being used to wake people up to the dangers of it, which you're doing a phenomenal job. But I just wanted to put that out there to you, because that's what I was told right from the start. Before I even knew anything about 5G, I knew nothing about it. You've obviously enlightened me to the fact that it's a weapon rather than a form of communication, which is actually very important. But I wanted to make that point to you that right from the start, they told me this was all a smokescreen to divert attention from the financial reset.
Well, the financial reset, I think what they didn't tell you, Charlie, is to kill everybody. The whole, this whole zero carbon, you know how they've actually got to tell you what's happening. So the whole UN 2030 agenda, zero carbon, well, we are carbon based. We breathe out carbon. So to get to zero carbon by 2030, you're going to have to kill all biological life, because it's, it doesn't matter whether it's cattle, sheep, humans. We all produce carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide obviously is the green gas. It's what keeps the planet cool. It's the total opposite. We're always, whenever you see this deception, it's 180 degrees.
Yeah.
About face. And it's, it's outrageous really when you think people only have to have a small amount of, scientific inquiry to find out that plants need CO2. If they're going to breathe out oxygen, they need CO2. So the whole CO2 narrative is bullshit. I mean, I work at one of the large oil and gas companies. Yeah. I was actually at a number of these CO2 conferences. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and it's not as if people don't know, they just go along with the plan.
Tell me if I'm right though, when they said that the New World Order and that was their plan, and Trump is out to stop their plan. That's what I've been told. This was a New World Order plan to reduce the population with all this carbon footprint and with the global warming. This is all New World Order that's run by the evil side that Trump has been put in place to stop. Do you see that?
What I do, I see Trump as a step. He's in the, it's all, if you look at the Bible. Yeah. Trump obviously reads the Bible. He understands the end of times prophecy. That is a significant number of people are going to die. But the people who die, the people who lose their soul and their life are the ones with lack of knowledge. Okay. Quite clearly, it's lack of knowledge that will kill people. And this is why we must get, the information out to the wider group, because I just see them walking around the streets with these muzzle mutts on. That's all part of a satanic, ritualistic, you know, the mask wearing, the circles in shops. You know, they send people around in circles in shops. It's all part of an agenda.
Yeah.
People who are doing it don't even. I mean, I was talking to a chap the other night who is, he knows Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, Gates his father was a eugenicist. They want to reduce the world's population. Mm-hmm. He says, but I really don't think they actually know what's really happening. Because obviously the great deceiver, Satan. Yeah. Satan's the greatest deceiver. And not only that, you see these people that follow him, the ones that have actually signed up to his bullshit. Yeah. You know, the kiddie fiddlers. Yeah. The child abusers. We know that whole thing's going to come out very soon. Well, unfortunately, they're the target. Because, you know, they're going to be dragged down the hole of hell. Now, they've been told that, you know, they're getting looked after. They've had it very nice for a few thousand years. You know, like I said, scum always rises to the top. So they've had it quite good for quite a number of years. Trump's causing them a significant problem. But the bigger problem that they all have is sovereignty. Yeah. We're sovereign. Yeah. We were always sovereign. Mm-hmm. And this is the plan for this. You know, this contaminated vaccination. You see, lack of knowledge, going back to the scripture, lack of knowledge. If you get that vaccination, it's got gene editing technology. So the vaccination, they can actually gene edit you with even this spray mist that they're going to start spraying up the kiddies' noses when they go back to school. They've already got the letters. And once you get that gene editing, you're then not a man or a woman. That means the law doesn't apply to you because God's laws only apply to man and woman. And all the legal system across the world is predicated on God's law. Now, the British judicial system, it's replicated all over the world. It's all based on God's law. And obviously the law applies to man and woman. So if I turn you into a chimera, which this vaccination's got gene editing technology, it'll cut into your DNA. It replaces it with monkey cell line, pig cell line, horse cell line, rat cell line, hamster cell line, dead baby fetus DNA, all pretty appalling stuff. Yeah. But then on top of it, it has a number of metal contaminants. Yeah. Aluminium, zinc, mercury, and tungsten. Now, tungsten's quite an interesting material. It's got double the resistivity of aluminium. So those nanoparticles, once I open up your blood-brain barrier with the frequency 2.4 gigs, I open up the blood-brain barrier. So those nanoparticles will travel into the blood-brain. We've already got evidence of this, by the way. Yeah. These aluminium, you know, the aluminium adjuvants that have been in, you know, vaccines in the past, where there's a lot of people starting to get dementia. Well, I'm not surprised. You get those nanoparticles very toxic in the brain. We've got evidence of that. So these nanoparticles will travel all over the body. It allows me to be able to see you with my 5G scanning technology. But what it also allows me to do is shoot you, because I can focus the beam wave at you. It increases the toxicity significantly. So where normally these waveforms, a bit like when you get an X-ray, you know, an X-ray is in a millisecond, it's just a single flash like a photograph. It's very high power. However, and you wouldn't want a lot of them. Yeah. These are a lot lower power than that, but not significantly lower, because obviously these beam waves, the waves from a 5G transmit are ionizing radiation. Even though the mast operates in a non-ionizing radiation spectrum, that doesn't stop the waveform, because you're stacking the photons in the same way as laser can cut stainless steel. So these wave beams are very, very powerful. It allows me, as we saw in China, to just drop you in the street. All right, so we saw the Chinese. So that this equipment's very, very advanced. I can see you, I can shoot you, I can hear you. You don't need any police. So the police get the vaccination first. They're already pulling them now. We've got that as evidenced. They're going to get the vaccination. That vaccination is a killer. Well, it mightn't kill you straight away. Unfortunately, for 5 troops out of 15 in the Ukraine who had it tested on them, It killed 5 of them immediately. That's quite interesting because there'll have been a placebo there within that vaccination. It's killed nearly everybody that took that vaccination. So we've got the evidence of that as well. It is a genocidal agenda. They want to kill multiple billions across the planet. However, this is where the whole thing falls down. You know, I had a little flirtation in nuclear power stations, so I understand nuclear power and understand how they work. Those nuclear power stations have spent fuel rod pools, 60,000 tonne in the US alone. Those cooler pools have to be kept cool. Mm-hmm. If they overheat, if I take out the electrical grid, we saw 5G take out the electrical grid in 5 cities in South Korea. So if I take out the electrical grid and those power doesn't get to those pumps to cool those cooler pools, and you've got to remember these facilities need maintenance 24/7. Some of that maintenance, those maintenance crews, highly skilled. Mm-hmm. If you kill them, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to lose one of these reactors. Not only are you going to lose one, you're going to lose some of these cooler pools. Now, obviously, the cooler pools, you know, you've got a few ton of fuel in it, not even that in the number of reactors. But these cooler pools, you've got thousands, 60,000 tonne just in America. If you take out one of those cooler pools, you know, the heat up, the rods get very hot. Once the temperature, they evaporate the water evaporates off pretty quickly. I'm talking about if you're not there to maintain them, and they'll then get hot, very hot, super hot. They'll punch a hole through the bottom of the cooler pool and hit the water table. It's not a reactor. You know, the reactors have got jackets, they've got concrete, reinforced concrete bund walls. That concrete's got lead in it. It's all to stop the radiation from emissions from the reactor. But the cooler pools, not as well protected, and if they hit the water table, I can tell you now, it's good night, God bless, across the world. And I'm saying that because once you get ionized radiation particulates in the atmosphere, very, very toxic. So the people that think they're going to survive this, they might want to go into a little hole and come back in a couple of years' time. I can tell you now, you can kiss that one goodbye. So, you know, they're going to survive it because this is a reset. Mm-hmm. This is a massive reset. You know, they've set the whole ball in motion. Getting it stopped, I'm pretty confident that the people who survive this are those that listen to the word, those that get the knowledge, because knowledge is key. Knowledge is key in understanding how to tackle this and how we do tackle this, because people also have to remember we are just light. Mm-hmm. Light. So this whole experience is an illusion, right? It's a very sophisticated, clever illusion. This is why the creator is very, very creative and extremely clever. You know, I mean, I'm always it's wondrous how it's all hangs together. Mm-hmm. But by the, you know, it is what it is. That science supports that. That due to the, the quantum science, if you look into it, I always tell people to Nick Bostrom's simulation hypothesis. If you haven't read it, you need to. And it basically confirms everything that we currently know. You know, one of the things that he said, the science becomes more sophisticated as we can measure things in a better way, you know, then what's going to happen? They're going to start to understand less. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what's happened. You know, when you start looking at the quantum world, you've got these scientists scratching their heads like the Big Bang. I mean, never seen anything as ridiculous in all your life. I mean, how they can actually call themselves scientists when they go around talking about Big Bangs, or scientists going around talking about carbon dioxide. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's where we're at with that one. The 5G, it's a weapon. It was always a weapon. You know, anybody who knows about direct energy weapons, I mean, the technical parameter for 5G is direct energy in air. You just have to fire it at a person. I mean, I've got a technical document from a manufacturer, and it actually tells you to pick up targets on the ground. And it's got pictures of the beamforming characteristics from the transmitter, obviously the graphic designs, and they're shooting people on the ground, and it's actually calling them targets. Obviously, this is supposed to be for your upgrade 5G phone. That 5G phone is just a myth. I mean, you could have a 5G phone, but getting in between those two beam characteristics, between your head and that 5G, you'd probably die. You know, you'd probably suffer a stroke or brain bleed, brain injury. Wouldn't be very pleasant. So the whole 5G, it's like the autonomous car, the electric car narrative. There isn't enough lithium in the world to electrify the whole vehicle infrastructure, but that's, you know, this is just where we get, you know, started. And there's not enough power to power them up. You haven't got enough power stations to charge them. So the whole thing's a hoax. It's all part of this UN Resilient Cities agenda, smart cities, smart grids, smart secret militarized armaments and residential technology. They want you in a city so they can kill you. It's quite clever when you think about it. Instead of having a concentration camp in the trains, they just encourage you to go into a city where they can cook you to death, and then they can, well, they could vaporize the body.
I suppose it wouldn't be a bad thing if you could just target the House of Commons, the House of Lords, Whitehall and HMRC.
Well, I think what's happening now, Charlie, they're fighting for their lives. They know we've caught them. This is why they're drafting all this draconian legislation, and it's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to draft the legislation. They're going to lock you in your homes. The whole virus is a hoax. Mm-hmm. It's a cover for the 5G weapon. There isn't a virus. Actually, isn't a virus.
No.
The virus is the damage. The exosomes that they're looking at, right? The exosomes that they're looking at are just an aftermath of being hit by microwave radiation. All the people that died in Italy, the Italians carried out the post-mortems. They had coagulation of the blood, fibrosis of the lung, pulmonary edema, basically flooding in the lung, pneumonia-type symptoms. That's all microwave radiation. Mm-hmm. That's what it does. And if you get the vaccine, it increases the toxicity. So the flu vaccine increases your pneumonia-type symptoms by 5 times. These are all published scientific papers. And these are ones that haven't been contested. They're totally irrefutable. Because the evidence is there. You know, you get people who go and get a flu jab and they go down with something absolutely terrible. I mean, my auntie, she had it twice. I mean, this is how stupid people are. She had it 1 year and it hospitalized her. She had it the next year and it put her in intensive care. And that's still, you know, it's because they're so brainwashed. I've told a million times, don't get the flu vaccine, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
But the BBC, good old Beeb there, paedophiles at the Beeb, they just want you dead. So they'll just lie to you. I had a Times reporter, so there may be something in the Times about this today, Charlie. Times reporter, yes, they sent us an email. It was quite, I still have to send it, it's quite funny. So, you know, he thinks I'm a bit paranoid. So what I did, I wrote to him back, sent him all the scientific documents. I says, well, you crack on. I know you won't be able to print it because Ofcom are breathing down your necks. But I said, at least I now know you've got the evidence. And at least I now know when the court case and the Nuremberg trials start, you've got no mitigating defence. Mm-hmm. So you'll get the full weight of the law. Because I'm pretty sure, well, the media's hacked. I mean, none of the media talk about the vaccinations, the dangers of vaccinations. All they talk about is this fake conspiracy narrative. I mean, the courts cover conspiracies. Judges cover conspiracies every single day. Conspiracy to burgle, conspiracy to commit murder. I mean, it's that bread and butter. And then the mainstream media have got it as if it's something that's not real. I mean, I remember when I got nicked. Exactly. When I got nicked in Gateshead and the cop, I said, oh, it's all conspiracy. I said, well, if it's all conspiracy and it's beyond your pay grade, get an SIO down here. Yeah. I said, obviously, you're a very thick copper.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it on the tape. It's on tape. I said, you're very dim. I said, you've never come across a conspiracy before. Blinking heck. I said, you must be right down the bottom of the shit pile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they just come out.
Is that the one you bought an ice cream for?
Oh, did you like my ice cream? I think I should have bought him one and stuck it in his nose.
I loved it. I was proud of you.
Thanks, Charlie. This just shows how, I know, but you see how stupid they are. Yeah. They are in breach of that oath of office. It carries with it a 14-year prison term. Him putting that mask on, it's all a hoax. Consequently, he's spreading fear, alarm, and distress.
Yeah.
He's in breach of his oath of office.
Yeah.
We know it's a fake. I can prove in any court it's a hoax. I can prove the people that died had the flu vaccine. I know that they've been hit with microwave radiation and they're dead.
Yeah.
We've got significant numbers that were dead in China. I mean, they're talking about roughly 11 million that killed in Wuhan. There was so much smoke. They had incinerators. You could see the smoke from the satellites were burning that many bodies.
Do you know the one thing that I've done in my research? I found out that while they were testing the vaccines in India, they killed 35,000 children while testing the vaccines. And the Indian government are still in the courts, suing the Gates Foundation for the 35,000 children that lost their lives whilst testing these vaccines. And yet the mainstream media have chosen to ignore that completely. And I would have thought that was fairly big news when you killed 35,000 children.
It's a covering up genocide, Charlie.
Yeah.
So they're complicit in the crime.
Yeah.
I sent that reporter yesterday, the letter, but he's got no defence now because he cannot plead ignorance because he now knows. So let's just see them play with those potatoes. I mean, I'm still waiting for the fine to come through the door.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't got the paperwork ready because I'm going to see them in a court.
Yeah.
We're gearing up. You know, the most important thing, everybody get along for the 19th, get an education. So it's the 19th of September, Trafalgar Square. This is your last chance to stand up. I mean it is, all right? Because they're gearing up the lockstep. They're gearing up the lockdown. You see, you've got to remember, they're fighting for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They've already put in train a session of a genocidal agenda. We now have the prima facie evidence for any court, so we can take the British government, the people within the British government to court. You know, you've had MPs who've sent, you know, chapter and verse direct from Public Health England, 5G safe. 5G is a weapon, so how can it be safe? 5G's never been tested, so how can it be safe? It's uninsurable for harm, so how can it be safe? So the fabricated nonsense they have put the signature to, I'll be pretty concerned. I'll be very concerned because, like I said, in London there was over 40,000 of us.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be near 1 million because I've spoken. The amount of people I'm talking to, they are sick of their life for these criminals.
Yeah.
They're making it up as they go along. It's a total fabrication. I mean, they're now talking about shutting down the country again.
Yeah.
On the back of them sending children back to school, where the children have been exposed to a 60 gigahertz Y gig in the schools. I've got the data. I've got the upgrades. Had a headmaster talking to me the other day in a school in London. Loads of these kids are going down with pneumonia in the classes. I said, you've had an upgrade. He said, yeah, they've upgraded the Wi-Fi. Anyway, we've gotten the doctors. Yeah, it's a Y-gig system. I says, well, it accelerates. At 60 gigahertz has no purpose for telecommunications.
Yeah.
It accelerates the oxygen molecule. It accelerates the oxygen molecule electrons. And then what happens? Your hemoglobin has difficulty picking it up and you starve of oxygen. So children will suffer what looks like altitude sickness, pulmonary edema, pneumonia type symptoms. 900 megahertz. There's a pathogen in the body called Klebsiella pneumoniae. When I hit you with 900 megahertz, it actually increases its toxicity in the body and you get pneumonia. So the pathogen's already in you. It's like the coronavirus pathogen in you. And as soon as I lower your immune system with microwave radiation, you come down with all those flu-type symptoms. Dead simple. It's all the science. And you see, this is the problem they've got with me and the science. They just don't like what I've got to say. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to educate the world and they're not going to stop me. It's not going to happen.
Well, what happened in Italy backs up your story 1,000,000% because they did they were told not to do it, but they did 100 autopsies and biopsies or what have you after people had died, and they found that not one single person that had died of COVID-19 had died of a virus. They'd all died of a thrombosis, which completely backs up what you're saying.
It does. There was also the ITU consultant in New York And what he was saying, the people who were going in and they were putting on these ventilators, he said it looked as if they'd been thrown out of a plane at 30,000 foot.
Yeah.
Right, where they were suffering altitude sickness. Well,
Yeah.
that's the same, you know, so that just, you know, it confirms it, Charlie. So we need to get that evidence, we need to get these characters into court. So it's incumbent on everybody to get organised, you know, get in touch with Charlie, get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And let's get, you know, let's get ourselves organised. Let's get some decent barristers.
Yeah.
Get a few, you know, we've got a legal team there, but let's get them supported. Let's get this into court. This is a hoax. It is a demonstrable hoax. They're even falling to parts. The government itself's falling to pieces. I mean, the executive drafted this legislation so that only 6 people on what? The only increase in sickness is in the schools where they've sent children back to make them wear masks, which will make them sick and give them lung issues, problems breathing. Well, you're bound to, you've got a mask on and it's all a masquerade. That's what the mask's for. It's a masquerade. They just want to see how dumb, how stupid you are. Same ones that went along with the CO2 narrative. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they just believe any old bullshit that comes out of the beep. How did they not learn? After Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
After,
my lawyer pointed out to me this week, he said to me, it amounts to child abuse, making children wear masks to school at the moment. He said it's nothing more than child abuse. He said in a court of law, they would lose. One very interesting point, though, Mark, that was made to me is that Donald Trump, as President of the United States of America, is not going to come into a country and force regime change. He's going to expose the people in our countries that are evil. It's for people like you and me to stand up and create change. People who live in those countries, but he will expose them for what they are. But if you're not awake, you're going to miss out on this completely. If you are awake, you'll be able to stand up to the evil people that he is exposing in our countries. And there's a lot of people out there that are just looking at them saying, look how bad they are and doing nothing about it. And what Mark has been doing since I've known you, Mark, for the last 5-6 months, you've been standing up there, putting your face out there, getting arrested, getting taken away and what have you, for standing up for the truth. And I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, well, I think lots of people need to start standing up because this is your last chance, you know, and it's, you know, what you're going to tell your grandchildren when they ask you, where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you when we stood up for the rule of law? Where were you when we stood up for the children? Where were you when we stood up for democracy? And where were you when we stood up for freedom? And freedom is key.
Yeah.
And if they take away your freedom, which they've already taken away, you know, I mean, Hitler was, you know, bombing London, bombing the cities. Nobody gave up. We dug in and fought back. We fought them. Churchill's great old speech, right? What did he say? We'll fight them on the beaches. We'll find them on the land grounds. We'll fight them. We'll fight. What actually happened? The fight's being taken out. These people, we've got a government who've got a fake virus and they've just give up on your behalf. Come out of China. It's a Chinese plan to kill off, to destroy your defense. If I kill 55 million by 2025, the current defense spends 50-60 billion. If I kill 55 million by 2025, defense spend's going to be 1.5, 1.6 billion. Do you think you're going to defend yourself against Chinese army? No. That's the plan. I was talking to one of the special forces guys yesterday, and I was explaining this to him. And as soon as you mention this, the whole jigsaw puzzle starts to fit. You know, the pitch, as like I said, I just painted the pitch, as put those jigsaw pieces together. You've got MPs out there, if they knew this, if they saw the intelligence document to show this kill, if they actually did a bit of research instead of getting that much money, they're out on the piss, or they're just, you know, quaffing at the trough, too interested in filling their own pockets. Well, unfortunately, they die.
Yeah.
You know, it's lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
It is absolutely not lack of knowledge that will see these people killed.
Yeah. It's very important to point out that you've done so much research, scientific research, into exactly what's going on. And I certainly appreciate the work that you've put in finding out this stuff, but it's getting that message out to people so that they understand it, that what's actually going on?
Well, Charlie, I couldn't understand, you know, when they put the LED street lights, got LED lights all over, it's part of the mesh network for 5G. And you'll find a lot of them have got little nodes on the top. These are part of the urban radar scanning equipment. Yeah, now that's what I thought it was. But when I actually physically got my hands on one of these high gain dielectric antennas, because I knew about dielectrics, I knew about the focus and the radiation in there. That's how you do it. One of the ways you can focus energy, I use dielectric lenses. When I got my hands on that, I knew it was a weapon.
Yeah.
Because that's what electromagnetic radiation, direct energy weapons use. They use either offset phased array antenna systems, or they use dielectric lenses to focus the radiation in air. Just as same as you focus light now out of a torch, these are focused radiation beams in air. They are extremely dangerous. So I was pretty shocked. And obviously we had a lot of children. I had a little boy in Lobley Hill who died of heart cancer, only ever been attributed to radar operators. We had babies right across the gated area dying in the womb at near full term. We had children bleeding from the nose, people being assaulted, people getting radiation burns on their back, their skin. We have neurological disorders, sore eyes, ringing in the ears, all microwave radiation pollution symptoms. And when I brought this up to the council, I thought they'd made a mistake, because obviously I hadn't looked at the whole, you know, the fact that they were deploying this all over the country. And then that's when they set out to try and trap me in a criminal case, but they also set out to gag me in a court where they fabricated all of that evidence, to lie to a judge, fabricate the evidence. The chief executive, the mayor, all the people at the council all lied. It was a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice to cover up genocide. All those people are involved. The documents were in the court. They lied on their statements. So they have fabricated the evidence to try and get me gagged. Fortunately, we had the video evidence of me at the council chamber where they'd stated that I'd went to attack them. So obviously there was a guy in the public gallery who'd actually videotaped the whole thing. So the judge is like, he's sort of scratching his head, looking at the video, and he said to the barrister, he went, "Have you seen this? Have you actually seen this?" And she, I haven't, Your Honour." He went, "Well, I'm watching it, and I don't see anywhere where Mr. Steele's going to attack them." The chief executive was on the stand. He goes, "Can you explain to me where in this video is Mr. Steele going to attack you? Can you explain it?" She was like, they tried to get his gag because they knew what I was saying was correct.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously we had a massive victory there. Because what he said was, this is the democracy. The 5G risk must be debated.
Yeah.
No debate. All we get is crap coming out of Public Health England and MPs' mouths and councillors' mouths saying, "Don't worry, it's safe." I've got the documentary evidence that says it's a weapon, not safe, built to kill. And these idiots just turn out. They said they had a scientist from Public Health England. It stated that the whole thing was safe. Well, I know John O'Hagan, Professor John O'Hagan at Public Health England. Now, John's pretty laissez-faire when it comes to safety. However, he's not an evil person. All right. So what happened? He wrote to all councils about the LED streetlights and the dangers and how they can blind the population. Not just they can kill all the pollinators, kill all pollinators that get anywhere near them. They can blind all the people. And he wrote all the councils. It was about 2 months before Gateshead Council put a massive press release, an international press release, to say that 5G was safe, that the LED streetlights, there was no risk. World Health Organization said there was no risk. They're doing, by the way, it's a category 2B cancer-causing radiation. The light radiation from the LEDs is a class 1 cancer-causing radiation. That's why all optical radiation is classed as a hazard. So the World Health Organization hadn't said that. They said that Public Health England had stated there was no risk. Public Health England, 2 months before, actually issued a document to all councils telling about the significant risk to eyesight from these LED streetlights. They lied. They're liars. So what happened? This lied in the court. We've got all the documentaries. I wouldn't like to be them, because I'm telling you now, those Nuremberg court trials are coming. We just need people to stand up. The police are the target. The only thing that's getting in between us and these criminals is the police. The police need to wake up before they die. Don't wake up, die. Wake up, you'll survive. But you need to wake up now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mark, thank you very, very much for that insight. What a wonderful insight there. And thank you for standing up for everything. And thank you for all your research. It's incredibly valuable right now.
Thanks, Charlie.
And it's always good to talk to you.
Yeah, just get everybody up there on the 19th of September, because like I said, it'll be a last chance saloon. I'm quite looking forward to it.
Another ice cream?
I'll end up making it a lolly the next thing.
Hi, it's Justin, and I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.